I see myself breaking him. I really, really do, and that's my preferred outcome of this fight, more so than a first round knockout. I see and I want to see myself break him in rounds, whatever. It could be three, but definitely four or five. And that's what I want.
My next guest has been waiting for this moment since January when he competed in one of the best fights of the year, and now he's finally getting his rematch October 3rd, PFL in Dubai against Usman Nurmagomedov. It is always my great pleasure to speak to the big news himself, Paul Hughes. Paul, welcome back. How are you?
Good to be back, bro. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for taking time for me as always. And I know we've chatted a lot this year. You know, after the Usman fight, before Bruno Miranda, after Bruno Miranda, we were all waiting for this moment. But for a little while, it got kind of dicey. So, what was your reaction when you finally got the call from PFL saying you're getting the rematch October 3rd? What was your initial reaction when you got that call?
Um, you see, when I first got the call, I was still like, until the contracts are signed and sent away, I'll not get too excited. So the contracts didn't get signed until very recently. I think maybe probably less than 2 weeks ago. I mean, I think it was only 3 to 4 days after they were signed that the fight actually got announced. So whenever it was actually announced, that's when it kind of felt a little bit more real. So that would have been, I think, this day last week. So yeah, it felt good. Felt good to finally get it done.
We can put it all behind us now, but like this last, basically 8 months of, and I know like we talked about the Bruno Miranda fight, like that was something you wanted because you got to fight at home. Like that was just a cool experience you'll never get again. You may never get again. So you had to do that one. But like in your head, like were there doubts during this period where you're like, this just isn't going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely there were, because it did seem to start dragging on for a long period of time. Um, I obviously felt like it was it was the obvious choice that the rematch had to happen next. I think most people in the industry were of that line of thinking. Apart from Usman, I think that their team, they did try to delay it as long as they possibly could, and they done a great job of that. But ultimately, they were told what they have to do, and that is the rematch. So here we are.
And I know, like we had that Archie Colgan moment as well. And I'm sure you have nothing against Archie Colgan, but like when that got announced as the number one contenders bout, I can only imagine like your actual reaction when you saw that.
Yeah, I tweeted PFL as soon as I see that, which is like not usually. Usually I can control myself, but I hit them with a tweet straight away. But look, I mean, ultimately you got to make the fight the fans want to see, and the fans want to see this rematch. The whole MMA industry want to see this rematch, and it's good business to make it happen now.
Back in January, you had that battle with Usman, and it was an incredible fight. Like I said, one of the best fights of the year, may go down as the fight of the year when it's all said and done, depending on how things play out the rest of the year. But you had a lot of respect for Usman. There was a lot of mutual respect there. I know that there was a lot of build up with the whole Ireland versus Dagestan thing and all that kind of stuff. But in these last like 8 months, has your opinion, or not quite 8 months now yet, but in these last few months, like has your opinion of Usman changed just because of what it took to get this rematch done?
Um, yeah, I mean, I certainly would have a lot more respect for him if he just came out straight away and was like, "I want this rematch." Now, fair enough. Yeah, maybe go. I'll have one more fight and then to the rematch. But that's exactly what I did. I knocked him out in 43 seconds. I knocked him down with the first punch. I didn't get hit once. So, I mean, how better can I prove myself, and how better can I build up an even bigger rematch than that? So, I definitely think I would have a lot more respect for him if he had came out and just went, yeah, okay, let's do the rematch. But the fact that he tried to stall it and to actively not make the fight happen, it definitely decreases that level of respect. But if anything, it just adds, I guess, fuel to my fire to beat that man.
Absolutely. And to that point, like I remember we talked out the Bruno Miranda fight when you texted him and you said, basically like let's go. And he said, you gotta win one more. Like that I know that bugged you, right? Like that definitely bugged you when that was like the narrative, because originally it was like go out and win a fight. Well, you did. You went out and beat Bruno Miranda in 40 seconds. And I know that like your initial reaction to that, you were not happy. You were not happy with that moment when he's like, go win another one. But obviously it's done now, so we can put all this behind us. But I know that was frustrating when like that was the message.
Yeah, for sure. But look, as I said, they tried to delay it as long as they possibly could, but they are not bigger than the promotion. And when PFL says this is who you're fighting, that is who you're fighting.
When you had the chance to fight Bruno, you didn't blink, because we thought like after the first one, like we could just do the automatic rematch. You had to wait a few months because obviously you're not going to just turn around and fight again, 2 months later. But we all kind of assumed it would happen. But you did. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna stay busy. You wanted that home fight. It was a really really cool for you. Can I ask, like, do you think Usman made a mistake just sitting on the sidelines? Because by the time, like, I'm not saying the 42nd fight was this epic war, it wasn't, but you had to go through another training camp, you had to get ready, and you stayed active. And I'm a big believer in staying active. I think active fighters are just more in tune when you get ready for fights. That hasn't been like a year or anything, but do you think he made a mistake just sitting out and waiting?
Well, look, in general, the longer you leave it against someone like me who is improving so fast, I mean, I'm still early in my career as he is for sure. But I mean, you look at my level of growth. I mean, it was only 14 months ago I had my first fight in the PFL or less, or yeah, just under 14 months ago. I mean, look what I've done in that time period, and not only look what I've done, how many times I've fought. Look how much better I am. I mean, in that year period, look at that first fight against Bobby King. How much better and more skilled I am as a fighter. Like I am truly all in this game, and this consumes me. And I'm trying to be the best to fucking do it. Like that's what I'm gunning for here, and that's the rate that I am improving at. So any more momentum for me is not a good thing for Usman for sure. So yeah, he definitely made a mistake in delaying it this long. But yeah.
Fight. I always say fighters are their own worst critics. Like, I think I joked with you after Bruno Miranda. I was like, you had a 40-second fight. I'm pretty sure you'll still tell me, well, there's one thing I didn't do right, because that's just the nature of being a fighter. Now, I know looking back at the first Usman fight, it was an incredible war, so many close rounds, but you believed in your heart of heart you deserved to win that night. But let me ask you, when you look at yourself from that fight, what do you feel like was your biggest mistake in that fight in terms of just like defining yourself as well, like leaving no doubt? I know you want to go out there and get a finish every time. Sometimes it's just impossible to do that. But when you turn the lens around yourself and like self-criticism, what do you feel like was your biggest mistake in that Usman fight, that first Usman fight?
Well, look, I mean, it's obviously hindsight's 2020. There's so many things that I look back and said I should have did this here, should have done that there. But ultimately, it was my first time fighting him. But the beauty of that is this: the next time isn't my first time fighting him. I know what to expect. I've been there. He's given me everything that he has. So now I know how to implement an even better game plan, and that has been my fucking life since I stepped out of that cage. Has been defeating this man, and that has been every single decision I've made since that has been in order to do that. So he, I don't think he's capable of. I don't think he'll rise to the level that I'm going to bring to this fight. I think that I seen him. I think I had him at death's door the last time, and had the head clash not happened at the end of the fourth round, and he had that 3 minute recovery. I do think I would have got him out of there that night, but this time I know for a fact, like truly know that he won't last the 5 rounds.
And I know like the narrative is going to be with Usman, and I get it. Like that's his style is wrestling. Like, can you stop his wrestling? And you did shut down his wrestling for a like huge part of that fight. And obviously you've done it against AJ McKee. You've done it before. But how confident are you in that aspect of your game the second time around? Because when you go in there, as you said, you don't know. Like you can prepare, but you don't know what it's going to feel like when he's actually in there with you. And I imagine doing as well as you did the last fight, that's got to give you confidence. And I know you're not going to be cocky and say, oh, I'm just going to shut his takedowns down. But can I imagine like having been in there with him, felt his grappling, felt his power, that is going to give you confidence going in the rematch. Like, listen, I can shut this guy down and just be myself, and implement my game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very, very confident in my game plan this time. It's certainly not a case of, oh, he won't take me down. I'm certainly prepared to be taken down. I don't care about being taken down. I care about getting back up and keeping the pressure on. And I know, look, it's 5 rounds. I just need a moment. I just need a moment to knock this man out or to change the entire fight. And that's what I'm best at, and that's what I'm supremely confident in.
Do you believe like, in your heart of hearts, you just want to go out there and win? And I'm sure, listen, if it's a battle, it's a battle, and you have to win a 48-47 decision, you'll take it, and you'll gladly go home with that championship. But is there any part of you that's like, I don't want to leave any doubt, whether it's knocking out Usman, just absolutely dominating him? Is there any part that's just like, I want to leave no doubt in this fight? Because the last time around, even though I know you believe in your heart of hearts you won, there were some close rounds. Is there part of you that's just like, I got to put this man away, or dominated him so badly that there's zero doubt in this fight?
Yeah, I truly, truly do believe that I get him out of there in 5 rounds this time. I'm obviously prepared for 5 of the hardest rounds imaginable. I mean, there's nobody prepares more than me. And if you watch any of my fights, you've seen me in them 5 rounders before. You know that I thrive in that. I mean, you've seen the image of me with the blood coming down my head the last time. I mean, that was the end of the 4th round. That was, you know, I think it's an indication of how much I do enjoy going to them places and bringing other fighters to them places where I live. So I'm prepared for all outcomes, but if I'm to be completely honest, I do believe that I get him out of there in 5 rounds.
I know you've said that you believe if not for that head clash in the 4th round, you would have put him away. He was slowing down, and obviously that 3 minute break gave him a chance to recover. And I'm not saying you're wrong in that, because that we've seen that happen before with low blows and other fouls where guys are able to recover and then come back out better. But going into the rematch, like I know you said in your heart of hearts, you believe he was trying to delay it. He was trying for it not to happen. And I think you can learn a lot. Like I just said, you learned a lot about Usman. And on the flip side, obviously, he was in there with you. He knows what that feels like. But do you feel like there is a flip side to that narrative, meaning like Usman was in there with you, and maybe that's why he doesn't want the rematch, or he didn't want the rematch, whereas you were in there and you're like, you know what? I knew I could do a couple more things and I would have finished him. You feel like it's the opposite for him, where it's like, oh man, like I beat this guy once. I don't know if I could do it again. Do you feel like there is that doubt in his head a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no question. I mean, there's a very, very easy thing to do here, and that is to go watch the final exchanges of that fight and look at the body language when that bell rings. That's all you need to know. Just go. Anybody, if you're watching it, just go to them last 10 seconds, have a little watch, and look at the body language after. That's all you need to know.
And I know that you told me when we talked after the Bruno Miranda fight, like you said, like put it in Dubai, put it, in that part of, because obviously Usman's got a fan base, things like that. You didn't blink when they said Dubai. Like I know you actually, in a way, you almost asked for Dubai, because you're like, I'll do it there. Give me this fight there. I don't care. I'm going to beat this man. So I imagine you didn't care where it was, but even kind of in a way stepping into his world, because I know he trains in Dubai and things like that. Like you're just like, I don't care. Just give me this fight.
Yeah. If anything, I like it being in Dubai, to be honest. I think Dubai is an amazing place. I think it's a great place to train. The arena was phenomenal, the Coca-Cola Arena, and the fans are amazing there. I'm really looking forward to doing it again in Dubai. I know it's kind of his back garden to a degree, but there's a lot of Irish support there as well. There's a lot of like Irish, English, European expats there that certainly give me huge support. So, but look, as I mentioned, a lot of people said about, oh, go to Dubai, the judges, this and that. It's not something I think about, because I really truly believe that I get him out of there this time.
Two quick ones. I'll get you out of here on this. One, I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways, because I feel like I need to hear the response. You go out and beat Usman Nurmagomedov. You knock him out. You dominate him. You win the title. That's technically 1-1. Can I imagine in the world where the PFL says, well, we got to do a trilogy. We got to settle this. There will be no blinking for you. There will be no, oh, you need to go win one. Maybe you turn around on him a little bit, but is there any party that's just like, no, I'm not going to turn away from that trilogy? Like, I will welcome that trilogy.
I'll welcome it right away. I'll do it the month after if they want. That this is definitely something that I foresee happening in the future for sure. But the only thing is, we have to make sure that the trilogy's in Belfast. I've already put that out there, and I think that I think we could do a stadium in Belfast, easy.
100%. And last one, listen, I know visualization is a big part of getting ready for a fight. And I know you plan for every scenario, right? Like you got to plan for, what if he does take me down? What if I do have a bad round? Whatever. You prepare for every inevitability in the kind of fight like this. But in an ideal world, what do you feel like the ideal ending of this fight is, where we're going to be talking about Paul Hughes, PFL champion? You're going to have that title belt on your shoulder, around your waist when it's over. Like, what is the ideal ending for this fight? How do you see it in your head playing out?
I see myself breaking him. I really, really do, and that's my preferred outcome of this fight, more so than a first round knockout. I see, and I want to see myself break him in rounds, whatever. It could be 3, but definitely 4 or 5, and that's what I want.